The Atlanta Braves have taken the field, and we'll be all set to go here momentarily. You'll never believe what they have forgotten. Baseballs. Tom Glavine wants to warm up. Paul Runge does not have a supply of baseballs. So he had to wait for the bat boy to bring out some baseballs to give one to Tom Glavine to let him start his warm-up so we can get this game underway. Game 7, the deciding game. It'll be the 17th time that a league championship series has gone to a 7th game in either league, or a deciding game, I should say. There were some deciding games in Game 5 when it used to be a best-of-5 series. And if you wonder what kind of advantage the Braves may have as the home team in the previous 16 in decisive games, the home team has won 10 times, the visiting team has won 6 times. So there really is very little advantage for either side going into a game like this when all the marbles are on the table, the winner going to the World Series, the loser going home. Our game time temperature, a very mild 74 degrees, brought to you by York Heating and Air. Everybody's in the ballpark ready for an exciting night, an exciting Game 7. Everybody from Atlanta anticipating the Braves returning to a World Series. Everybody from St. Louis anticipating their Cardinals getting back into a World Series. So there's a lot riding on this one. The Yankees await the winner. It'll be Royce Clayton, Willie McGee, and Ron Gant due up here in the top half of the first inning on what could be a very memorable night here, Don.
I think you're right, Pete. It has already had all the electricity that we have seen in the World Series. The last time the Braves were in a Game 7 back in 1992. And I don't know if you remember that or not. I know you remember the slide by Sid Bream, the base hit by Francisco Cabrera. But do you remember that going into the 9th inning, the Braves were down 2 runs? The Braves had also taken a 3-1 lead in that series, and the Pirates had taken 5 and 6 to send it into sudden death.
And the Braves trying to accomplish a first here in a National League Championship Series. No team has ever been down 3-1 and come back to win. Braves trying to do that here tonight.
Glavine all set. He stands on the third base side of the pitching rubber, awaits the first sign from Javi Lopez. Into the line, and here's the first one. Down low, 1-0. Bulova time at first pitch, 8:14. Bulova available at It's About Time. That ball skipped across the plate, so Royce Clayton asked Paul Runge to take a look at it. He'll keep it in play. Keep an eye on Paul Runge tonight. He may be the most important man in blue out there and one of the most important participants in this ballgame. Normally, a very liberal strike zone down and away from hitters. The 1-0 to Clayton outside, and it's 2-0. And if you recall, Tom Glavine sometimes has trouble nailing the outside corner early in the ballgame. If Runge is true to form, definite advantage for Glavine. The 2-0 to Clayton, squirted off the end of the bat, back into the screen, and it's 2-1. Clayton, McGee, and Gant. Clayton, an acquisition from the San Francisco Giants, a .277 year, .364 combined in all of postseason, and .375 against the Braves. The 2-1 pitch off the end of the bat and back into the crowd. Glavine has headed every pitch toward the outside corner to the right-handed hitter, count even at 2-2. Clayton, after each swing, backs out of the batter's box, takes a little walk around. He's all set, and the 2-2 pitch almost hit him. Inside about the kneecaps. Full count, 3-2. Glavine didn't walk anybody the last time against the Cardinals. The payoff pitch to Clayton, little looper, right field, in his Dye, makes the catch. Dye started charging in and then slowed up and caught it about chest high. So there's out number 1 in the first inning, and it'll bring up Willie McGee.
And those of us who have followed Tom Glavine throughout his career know how important these first couple of innings are for him. Anytime he gets through the first couple of innings with nothing doing for the opposition, that normally means it's going to be a good night for Tom Glavine. If he has trouble, it almost always happens early.
McGee, 307 for the year, 333 in the league championship series. He takes one outside, 1-0. You're right, Pete. There has never been a person who more fits that old cliche, if you don't get him early, you won't get him, than Tom Glavine. Here's a strike to McGee. Over the outer edge, 1-1. Glavine, no stranger to working these clinching situations. Remember Game 6 of the World Series. His changeup is outside to McGee, and it's 2-1. One of the finest ball games I have ever seen Tom Glavine pitch was Game 6 against the Cleveland Indians, and I'd have to rank it up there as one of the best I have ever seen anybody pitch under the gun. The 2-1 to McGee is outside, and it's 3-1. Wish you could have been here for the crowd's reaction to Francisco Cabrera. It was a well-kept secret, and somewhere I see the hand of John Sherholtz weaving that little web together. The 3-1 to McGee off the end of the bat. Look out down below. That was off the facing of the owner's box. So the count goes full 3-2 to McGee.
The Braves owners will get no sympathy from Cardinals owners when they see that. Not in this series.
Glavine with a new baseball. McGee right down on the knob of the bat, and the payoff pitch on the way. That's slapped out of play, right field side, back into the crowd. Still 3-2. McGee backs out of the batter's box. His right foot right on the back line of the batter's box. The wind by Glavine, and the 3-2 pitch hit in the air right field, headed toward the Braves bullpen. Dye over to give it a look. But that, too, is back into the crowd. Still 3-2. So both of the Cardinals' first two hitters making Tom Glavine work for his outs. McGee all set, Glavine all set, and another 3-2 pitch on the way. Chopper toward third. It will kick foul. Chipper Jones, who had moved way back with 2 strikes, would have had no chance to throw out Willie McGee. But for Glavine, another 3-2 pitch will have to be made.
Could be a key, too. If he has to throw out of pitches early in the game, the pitch count might catch up with him by the 5th or 6th inning if he's pitching well. And so far in postseason, with only a couple of exceptions, Bobby Cox has not had to go to his bullpen very early.
And that has been a real key for the Braves. Glavine all set to go. The 3-2 pitch on the way. McGee tries to check his swing. Call strike 3. Outside corner. So there's out number 2, and Glavine wins another 3-2 battle. 2 gone for Ron Gant. Gant did some damage against Glavine over in St. Louis. A couple of home runs in that ball game. A long home run to center field. Ron has moved right up on the plate. His left foot mere inches off the plate. Glavine's first pitch. Up and away, 1-0. .313 with 3 homers in postseason. 2 of them coming against the Braves here in the LCS. The 1-0 on the way. That's outside, and it's 2-0. And you got to look from Tom Glavine on that like that's a pitch he expected Paul Runge to call a strike. Infield plays Gant to pull. The 2-0 pitch on the way. Down low, 3-0. Gant is another one of those hitters that the Braves do a little bit of a reverse shift. The infield plays him to pull, but the outfield plays him toward right field. Is he green lighted 3-0? We will soon know. Yes, he is. 3-hopper to third. Chipper pumps once, goes to first, and that'll do it. So Glavine gets it off to a good start. He sets down the Cardinals. 1-2-3. Braves coming up, no score. Braves getting set for their first turn. They'll be going against left-hander Donovan Osborne, 13-9 during the season, 1-0 in the National League Championship Series. The defense has Gant in left, Jordan in center, McGee in right. Around the infield, Gaetti at third, Clayton is at short, Gallego at second. Dimitri Young, the big first baseman. Tom Pagnazzi behind the plate. And left-hander Donovan Osborne, 6'2", about 200. Boy, has he been involved in some freaky accidents.
Yeah, he's had a rough year off the field.
Broken champagne glass, a blister.
Automobile accident in spring training, broke a rib there.
First pitch on the way to Grissom. Lined into center field, base hit. Grissom picks on a high fastball and sent it right back up the middle. And the Braves have the leadoff man on for Mark Lemke. Grissom went up there looking for anything in the strike zone on the first pitch. He got it and lined it to center. Lemke has been red hot. .255 for the year, but .343 overall in postseason and over .400 against the Cardinals, 10 out of 33. Righty against lefty. The stretch, the pitch. Lemke hammers it. Fair ball into the left field corner. Grissom headed for third. Gant plays the carom. They're going to hold Grissom at third. 2 pitches, 2 runners, 2 in scoring position. A double for Lemke.
Nobody has scored yet, but the Braves had an excellent opportunity here in the bottom half of the first inning. Chipper Jones coming to the plate, and he was the guy on our pregame show who said the biggest thing that could happen for the Braves tonight would be to get 3 or 4 runs in the first inning. He said if that happens, he thinks they've got the game won.
And for Mark Lemke, a 9-game hitting streak in postseason. He stands at second. So Donovan Osborne has hardly had time to get loose, and he's already had to back up the bases twice. Clayton in at third, from short, and Pagnazzi out for a chat with Osborne. Cardinals are going to play the infield back. Chipper 309 for the year, 9 for 21 against the Cardinals. He is yet to homer against the Cardinals. He did get one against L.A. Osborne from the stretch. The look to third and the first pitch to Chipper. He shows bunt and takes a strike. That would have crossed everybody up, and surely Grissom would have scored. 0-1 to Chipper Jones. Dimitri Young creeps in at the cut of the grass at first. Gaetti even with the bag. Gallego sneaks in at second. The 0-1 pitch. Ground ball. Diving stop by Gaetti. Looks to third. Throws to first. No advance by Lemke or Grissom. Great play by Gary Gaetti, and he may have jammed his hand. He saved at least 1 and maybe 2. So here's Fred McGriff. The hits are coming few and far between for Fred. 4 out of 23. Only .219 in all postseason play. Osborne from the stretch. The first pitch to Fred. Breaking ball hit on the ground to short. In comes Clayton. They've got Lemke hung up. Grissom will score. They chase Lemke over to Gaetti, who tags him out. Alert base running by Marquise Grissom. Not good base running by Lemke, but he stayed in a rundown long enough so that the Braves could pick up the first run of the night and lead it 1-0.
Boy, for a while there, Marquise Grissom didn't know where to go. He didn't know if they were going to make a play on him or keep Lemke in a rundown. He eventually saw them concentrating on Lemke, then took off and scored.
They just ignored Grissom, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
So McGriff is at first. And here's Javi Lopez, moved into the fifth spot behind Fred. What a series he is having. 11 out of 20. Osborne's first one. Big curveball. Drops in about knee-high. 0-1. You mentioned Chipper Jones saying it would be big for the Braves to get a bunch of runs early. It would be somewhat of a moral victory for the Cardinals to only hold them to 1 here.
Absolutely. They had runners second and third, nobody out.
The stretch, the pitch. Pops in and out of the mid of Tom Pagnazzi. No advance. 1 ball, 1 strike. I guess you just got to flip the calendar forward if you want Javi Lopez to get hot. 282 for the season, 481 in postseason, 550 against the Cards. The 1-1 pitch, curveball down and in. It's 2-1. Osborne, a long look at Pagnozzi. Now the lefty is all set. The 2-1 pitch. Right through the heart of the plate, 2-2. It looked like Javi Lopez was looking for something else.
Looked like Pagnozzi might have been too. He almost looked like he got crossed up on that pitch.
He's done that a couple of times in this series for a guy who has become quite respected as a defensive catcher. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The stretch and the pitch. Curveball in the dirt. Good stop by Pagnozzi. Full count. Dimitri Young is still holding McGriff at first. They're not going to give him a running jump. Fred edges away. Short lead. Now adds another foot or so. And the payoff pitch to Javi Lopez. Fouled in and out of the mid of Tom Pagnozzi. Still 3-2. Javi Lopez chasing the league championship record for hits in a series. Will Clark got it back in 1989. 13. Javi now with 11.
And those 13 hits came in 5 games for Will Clark. That was a 5-game series.
How impressive is that? New baseball for Osborne, and a payoff pitch on the way again to Javi Lopez. Fastball high, walked him. So Lopez walks. McGriff moves up 90 feet. First base on ball issued by Donovan Osborne. And it will bring up Jermaine Dye. 1 run in. The Braves with 2 hits. Jermaine looking to heat up. Better than 280 for the year, but only 5 for 23 against the Cardinals. But folks, don't ever believe for a second that is effective hit defensive play. He has made some sparkling plays in the outfield. First pitch on the way to Jermaine. Lined in the left field. Gant coming on. Will play it on a hop. They're going to send McGriff. Here comes the throw. Way up the line. McGriff scores easily. Javi Lopez around to third. A clutch 2-out single for Jermaine Dye. And the Braves lead it 2-0. And what a good job of coaching for Jimmy Williams.
Well, we know that Ron Gant is playing with an ailing shoulder. He's not got that great a throwing arm to begin with, but it's even less effective with his shoulder not being at 100%. So Jimmy Williams never hesitated, even though Gant got to that ball very quickly, and it was hit very sharply. And by the time he came up with the ball, Fred McGriff was just touching the bag at third. And a good throw would have had him easily, but not much on the throw and certainly no accuracy. It was way off to the left side of home plate.
Cardinals pitching coach Dave Duncan is going to make a trip to the mound. That'll give us a chance to pause for station identification. You're a part of the Atlanta Braves Radio Network.
Braves baseball, exclusively on News Talk 750 WSB. Atlanta's home of the Braves, the Hawks, the Georgia Bulldogs. The sports voice of the South. Depend on it.
The meeting is over, and just checking out the monitor we have access here in our booth. Donovan Osborne has that woe is me look on his face. It looked like he was going to be able to get out of this, but he's still in hot water. Javi Lopez at third, Jermaine Dye at first. Here's Andrew Jones up for his first time tonight and looking for his first hit in the series. 0 for 5. Throw to first. Close. But Jermaine Dye back safely. 2-0 Braves. We're just underway. Glad you're with us. Game 7 of the National League Championship Series. The first pitch to Andrew Jones, up and away, 1-0. Osborne toes the rubber on the first base side. Sets at the belt and brings the 1-0 pitch home. Down low with the changeup. 2 balls and no strikes. Dye away from first. Javi Lopez down the line in foul territory from third. And a 2-0 pitch on the way to Andrew Jones. Hammered into left field. A base hit. His first one is a big one. It drives home Javi Lopez, and the Braves lead it 3-0. Just what the doctor ordered. Germain stops at second. Andrew Jones at first. Here's Jeff Blauser, 8th man to bat in the inning for the Braves. First pitch on the way to Jeff. Curveball in the dirt. Bounces away from Pagnozzi, but not very far. He's over on it quickly. No advance.
Andy Bennis has gotten up in the Cardinal bullpen.
Well, sudden death, you can't have the luxury of staying too long with a pitcher. And Pete, being a pitcher, I know you seldom hear me very critical of them, but I'm telling you, Donovan Osborne looks like a guy who's just kind of feeling his way around out there right now.
Looks a little scared, doesn't he?
He looks very scared. The lefty stretches and brings the 1-0 pitch home. Swing and a miss by Blauser. Got him with a changeup. And, you know, you could be reading it all wrong, but he has that look like a deer caught in the headlights. And they look like they're on brights, too. The stretch and the 1-1 pitch to Blauser. Hit him. Bases loaded. Right off the thigh. And Osborne just kind of nonchalantly slaps for the ball as it comes back out to it. And Blauser takes one for the team off the left knee. Bases are loaded for Tom Glavine. And this crowd on their feet, they want this one to be decided early. Guy at third, Jones at second, Blauser at first, 2 gone. The stretch and the pitch to Glavine. Fouled away at the plate, 0-1. Osborne takes a trip around behind the mound. Now he climbs back up on it. Bends over, glove on his left knee as he waits to side. Now the lefty is all set. The stretch and the 0-1 pitch to Glavine. Curveball stays high, 1-1. The 1-1 pitch to Tom, way upstairs, and it's 2-1.
He's been all over the place in this first inning. Anything over the plate has been right over the heart of the plate. When he's missing way up high. He's missing in the dirt. He's missing way outside. No command whatsoever of his pitches.
The 2-1 pitch to Glavine. Lined into left field. Coming on as a Gant. Dives. It gets past him. It's going to roll to the corner. Here comes Guy. Here comes Jones. Here comes Blauser. Glavine in the third. A bases clearing triple. And the Braves break it wide open in the first.
Well, a little bit of justice. It was Ron Gant who hurt Tom Glavine with a pair of home runs in Game 3. This time it was Tom Glavine hitting a line drive that Ron Gant couldn't quite get to. With the bases loaded, it's a 3-run triple. It's 6-0 Atlanta.
The Braves have already sent 9 men to bat here in the first inning. Here comes Tony La Russa. And the extra day's work is not going to work for Donovan Osborne. If Tom Glavine is up to form and the Braves are going to hold on, he is going to get 5 months rest. La Russa makes his way to the mound. The Cardinals are going to make a pitching change, and we'll be right back. This crowd is on their feet. They are enjoying this 6-run outburst. The big blow in the inning, a bases-clearing triple by Tom Glavine. 9 men have come to the plate. Marquise Grissom will make his way to the plate for his second at-bat. This crowd is loving this. It is too early to start celebrating. You still got to get 24 more outs. and go ahead and tack another one on. But this has to be one of the biggest first innings in the history of league championship play.
And the Braves have now scored 35 runs in this series. That ties the National League Championship Series mark set by the Pirates in '92 against the Braves.
Bennis's first pitch is popped up. First base side over by the dugout. Young will run out of room, and it's 0-1.
I know it's too early to start celebrating, Don, because it is only the first inning, but I do want to say this. I think that Tony La Russa got badly outmanaged by Bobby Cox in setting up his pitching rotation for this series. Bobby stuck with one plan. La Russa went back and forth, didn't make up his mind until yesterday about Game 6.
The 0-1 pitch to Grissom, down and in, 1-1.
And I think with a pitching staff that's had very little experience in postseason, that was a major error.
You make it as simple as possible, and it certainly hasn't been done that way for the Cardinals. Bennis from the Wieren, and the 1-1 pitch to Grissom. Up and away, 2-1.
If there was a time that Bobby Cox could have panicked, it could have come in Game 4 when he said from the outset that Denny Nagel was going to pitch. The Braves were down 2-1. He could have very easily have changed his mind and gone back to John Smoltz on 3 days rest. He didn't.
A slow roller back toward the mound. Bennis will make the play, and that'll do it for the Braves. But what a first inning. Crowd on their feet. The Braves 6 runs, 5 hits, 1 left. We have played 1, and the Braves have jumped out to a 6-0 lead.
Hey, Braves.
We head to the second inning. Tom Glavine will take a 6-0 lead to the mound. We were speculating, Pete, as to how that ranked in LCS history. Biggest inning, how was it?
It tied the record for the most runs scored in the first inning in a league championship series. The 1989 Cubs scored 6 in the first inning against the San Francisco Giants in Game 2 in '89.
Throw goes down to Lemke, over to Rafael Belliard, who has come on in place of Jeff Blauser, so pencil him in the 8th spot, to Chipper Jones, and then back to the mound.
Looked on that replay when Blauser got hit like that ball might have been a little closer to the knee than it first looked. He might be hurting a little bit.
May have glanced off the kneecap, and good idea to get in and get it treated right now. Brian Jordan, Gary Gaetti, and Dimitri Young. 6-0 Braves. Glavine wants nothing but strikes. The first pitch to Jordan popped up. First base side, foul territory. McGriff near the coach's box, staggers a little, puts it away. 1 pitch, 1 out. I would expect that unless the Cardinals can mount some sort of rally, you are going to see a minimum amount of pitches and a maximum amount of efficiency from Tom Glavine. It's interesting. You can tell a lot about the personality of a person if you listen to some of these interviews the night before and the day before a big game. Here's Gaetti. Glavine's first one up and away, 1-0. Donovan Osborne, who was interviewed, said, "It is a time to get nervous. I'll probably be a little nervous, probably have trouble sleeping." And I think that probably showed tonight. The 1-0 pitch. Hit in the air to center field, deep. Grissom going back, still going. Now stops at the warning track. There's out number 2. 2 gone for Dimitri Young. But Tom Glavine, on the other hand, when you listen to his interviews, he said, "It's another game. I have to pitch the way I've always pitched. Sure, there's a lot of bells and whistles and trappings, but I have to treat it as another game, and I will sleep well," and I believe him.
Yeah, he said that, and he also said if I started thinking about it now, meaning yesterday, he said I wouldn't be able to get the first pitch up to the plate.
Here's the first pitch to Young. It's a strike over the outer edge, 0-1.
But he's learned with all his postseason and big game experience that you just can't think about it until it's time to go to work. And you have to treat it like that.
It's still 90 feet between the bases, 60 feet 6 inches to the mound. The 0-1 pitch to Young. There's another strike at the knees, 0-2. We just got word from General Manager John Sherholtz that Jeff Blauser did get hit in the knee, and certainly we hope that that's all right. Jeff now in the training room getting his treatment. The 0-2 pitch on the way to Young. Here it comes. A little bit outside, 1-2. Young, that big triple off of Greg McMichael over in St. Louis. His first extra base hit in the big league. The 1-2 pitch from Glavine. Hit off the end of the bat, climbs back up against the screen. It's still 1 ball and 2 strikes. Glavine sets himself on the third base side of the rubber, holds a glove up in front of him as he Waits the sign. The wind and the 1-2 pitch. Down and in. Cut a fastball right in on his knees, and it's 2-2. The 2-2 pitch to Young. Changeup swung on and missed. A 1-2-3 inning from Glavine. He has set down 6 in a row. We head to the bottom of the second. Braves lead it 6-zip. Bottom of the second inning. Let's see what the Braves have in store after that big first inning. 6 runs on 5 hits in the first inning. And not a good night for Donovan Osborne. He went 2/3 of an inning. He walked 1. He didn't strike anybody out. Bennis came on to get the 3rd out in the inning, and he will greet Mark Lemke here in the bottom of the second. They say that if you're on the road and you have a big first inning, you can take the crowd out of play. I have a feeling, though, that if you're home and you have a big first inning, this crowd is going to be rocking all night long unless the Cardinals can mount some sort of attack. Lemke double his first time up. Bennis's first pitch misses low, 1-0. Mark now holding the league championship record for games at second, 31. And for games played with one team, that is 31, and that includes tonight. So very quietly, Mark Lemke etching his name in the history books. Bennis delivers a strike. It's 1-1. He's all set again. His curveball drops in on the plate. It's 2-1. I think you can make a parallel with Mark Lemke. Bennis's 2-1 pitch on the way. Hit in the air to center field. Jordan back a couple of steps. Now he comes in, slides toward left field, and makes the catch. There's out number 1 in the second inning. And here's Chipper Jones. Mark Lemke is kind of like the crossing guard at a school. You know, he never gets enough credit for all the work that he's done, and you only miss him, it seems like, if there's a log jam, but boy, does he deliver for you day in and day out.
Especially in October.
Chipper grounded to third his first time up. Bats from the left side, takes a strike, and it's 0-1. That's funny. He doesn't try to get in front of the camera as much as that other Mr. October either, does he? Another strike at the knees, and it's 0-2.
No, and it's almost as if we talk about it all season long, almost from the very beginning of the year. Mark is playing with some part of him hurting. Either he's got a jammed wrist or a jammed hand, or he's got an ankle that he turning a double play, or there's always something wrong with him, but he plays through all his injuries, and it's almost like magically when postseason play arrives, they all disappear.
Pitch to Chipper Jones, misses outside. The count evens at 2-2. Bennis into the wind, and the 2-2 pitch. Grounded. Dive by Gallego. He can't get it. It's a ground ball. Single into right field for Chipper Jones, and the Braves have their 6th hit of the night. So Chipper stands at first for Fred McGriff. McGriff grounded into a fielder's choice his first time up. You had Lemke at second. You had Grissom at third. 1 out. McGriff hit a grounder to short. They got Lemke hung up, but Grissom able to score the first run of the night. Bennis from the stretch. The first pitch popped up left field side. Gant, who was way near left center, now tracks it down near the line, and there's out number 2.
Back to that point I was making about the way these managers use their pitchers. What it came down to was they came back to Atlanta for game 6 and 7. The Braves were going with Greg Maddux and Tom Glavine, who at the beginning of the year were ranked 1 and 2 in the Braves rotation. Remember, John Smoltz didn't start till the 3rd game. And the Cardinals were down to Alan Bennis and Donovan Osborne, their 3 and 4 starters. So the way the pitchers were set up by Tony La Russa, he wound up having his 1 and 2 starters both unavailable to start in game 6 and game 7.
Yeah, that's a great point. Here's Javi Lopez and the Javi, Javi, Javi chant starting. Javi walked and scored in the first inning. 11 for 20. Throw to first. Chipper dives back in on his hands and knees. 6-0 lead. I'm not sure the Braves would be sending Chipper Jones. They want to get Javi Lopez a chance to take some hacks at Andy Bennis. Bennis comes set, looks to first and brings it home. Inside, 1-0. I think in postseason play more than any other time, there's a tendency for managers to want to manufacture things. A strike at the knees to Lopez, it's 1-1.
I think it's a credit to Bobby that he didn't in this series. He stayed with his original plan, and he wound up having a fresher Greg Maddux with 5 days rest in last night's game, and it certainly showed. And he's got Tom Glavine pitching with full rest tonight.
Well, the philosophy that you can read into that, the 1-1 to Javi, grounded towards short, backhanded by Clayton. His throw will go to second. That'll take out Chipper Jones, and that will end the second inning for the Braves. The Braves come up empty. No runs a hit, no errors, and one left. Through 2, 6-0 Braves. Tom Glavine, with 6 to play with, has set down 6 in a row. 6 runs, 6 hits, an errorless ball for the Braves. Cardinals coming up for their third time have been held to no hits, no runs, no nada. Glavine completing his warm-up tosses. That'll give us a chance to break away for a station break. You're a part of the world's champion Atlanta Braves Radio Network.
Braves baseball, exclusively on News Talk 750 WSB. Atlanta's home of the Braves, the Hawks, the Georgia Bulldogs. The sports voice of the South. Depend on it.
Sorry, Dave, I know you tapped me, but I was just marveling at some of the headgear being worn here in the stand. Some guy thought he was coming to a Viking football game. Tom Pagnozzi to lead it off for the Cardinals. The wind by Glavine. The first pitch lined. Up the ladder goes Lemke. Nice play, Mark Lemke. And to start the third, as he did the second, 1 pitch, 1 out for Glavine. He has now set down 7 in a row. Having been on both sides of this situation, Pete, from the Cardinals side of it, it seems like when you get down, every ball you hit, you'd swear they have 14 fielders out there. Here's Gallego. Glavine's first pitch over the outside corner. He is pitching like a confident man on a mission.
Yeah, it takes away so much of what hitters try to do. They can't try to work a count because he's not trying to pitch anything fancy. He's just going to throw strikes with a 6-run lead.
The 0-1 pitch to Gallego. The changeup is outside. 1-1. Chipper Jones, not sure Gallego wouldn't try to get something going with a bunt. He's in even with the bag at third. Outfield shades a little second baseman to the right side. The 1-1 pitch from Glavine. Foul back to the screen. 1-2. What a comeback this would be for the Braves if they do indeed hang on to this 6-run lead.
Well, it's never happened before in a National League Championship Series. No team has ever been down 3-1 and come back to win.
I want to ask you, we've been mentioning the managers. Here's the pitch to Gallego. Popped out of play, still 1-2. So much has been made, it seems like, in conversation about the emotion of this series. There have been appeals to the Braves fans to pump up the emotion. There have been the Cardinals saying that's how they play with emotion. Glavine likes the sign. The 1-2 pitch to Gallego. Line down the right field line. Slicing. It's a foul ball. Foul by only a foot or so. Die over quickly with it. Still 1-2. But isn't that playing on emotion in a game like this risky business?
I would think so, and I think that's been one of the great strengths of the Braves, really, ever since the second half of the 91 season. This team has never played like that. They've always, you can't tell, and you and I travel with them, as does Skip and Joe, all the time, so we're around these guys every day, and you can't tell when you come to the ballpark, walk through the clubhouse, get on a bus, get on an airplane, you can't tell whether this team has just won 10 in a row or just lost 10 in a row. The emotion and the attitude and the upbeat nature about let's go to work tomorrow and get a win has been there every single day. Consistency.
And Tom Glavine represents this as much as anybody. This one's skied in the right center field. Dye is coming over, so is Grissom. The youngster will give away to the veteran. And there is out number 2, 8 in a row set down.
And I know, Don, that we've all done all these talk radio shows all around the country for these past few years, especially at this time of year. And we're always asked the question about how you guys handling the pressure, how is this team responding being down 3-1. And whenever you give them an honest answer, they think you're kidding them.
Right.
They think, well, you really can't tell on this ball club. You don't notice a high when a team has won or a low when they've lost.
Bennis swings at the first pitch, doesn't get it, 0-1. Excuse me.
They just maintain the same attitude. This is almost like hired assassins. We're just going to work to win a game, and we'll do our best to do that, and most of the time we will. That's what the attitude is.
The pitch to Bennis, outside corner, 0-2. I'll tell you a good example of that. I think it was Denver, a getaway day where we played on a Wednesday night, and I was off. So I had gone to play golf, gone to dinner, and I came into the locker room afterwards to catch the bus. The 0-2 pitch to Bennis. Swing and a miss. The story will wait. Glavine sets him down 1-2-3 in the third. He is set down 9 in a row. And the Braves lead it 6-0. We're heading to the bottom of the third inning. It is good news if you're a Braves fan. The Braves lead it 6-0. All 6 coming in the first inning. An inning in which the Braves sent 10 men to the plate. Braves coming to bat here in the third. Jermaine Dye, Andrew Jones, and Rafael Belliard. First 3 due up. The point you were making and that I was making about on an off day to come into the locker room. I hadn't heard the game. I hadn't seen the game. And I walked into the locker room with my bags and set them down and watched and had no clue what the score was or who had won. So it's a very even-keel ball club. And I think over the course of 7 months, that always will pay off. Bennis sends a strike to Jermaine Dye, and it's 0-1.
And I agree with you. I think it especially pays off in big games, in games like this.
The 0-1 pitch outside 1-1. And I'll tell you why. Because I think emotion is good in a sport that is a contact sport like football where you got to beat on somebody. It helps to be a little whacked out and pumped up. Swing and a miss by Dye. But in a sport like golf or in baseball where precision and execution is so important, the guys who can go to work like they're going to a blue-collar job are the ones that seem to deliver.
I think emotion did carry this club for the most part in '91 when they were going from worst to first and put on that tremendous second-half run to get themselves into their first World Series. But I think once they realized they could do it, then it became just kind of a matter-of-fact situation that, we just go to work today and try to win the game, and 96 or 7 times during the year we will. That'll get us into the postseason, and then all we have to do is keep winning 4 out of 7.
Call strike 3 to Jermaine Dye. So Bennis starts off the third inning with a strikeout. That's the first strikeout registered by a Cardinal pitcher tonight. Dye will make his way back to the dugout. It'll bring up Andrew Jones. Andrew made his first hit in the NLCS, a memorable one. A single in the first inning to keep the inning alive. Picked up an RBI. Andrew now 1 out of 6. Righty against righty. Bennis' first pitch. High slider, 1-0. The big right-hander back to the plate. Down low, and it's 2-0.
But haven't you found that when you give that answer about this club doesn't show much emotion, the usual response is, oh, come on.
Yeah.
Even in September when the Braves were in that losing streak and losing a large portion of their lead over Montreal, you couldn't tell.
No, you absolutely could not, and people don't believe it. Some of the most enjoyable, successful ball clubs I got a chance to be a part of were ball clubs like that. The 3-0 pitch is a strike at the knees, and it's 3-1. I think a lot of times if you watch over the length of a season or a couple of years, a ball club will eventually take on many of the traits of its managers.
Yes.
The 3-1 pitch to Jones popped up. Shallow right field. Gallego says he wants it. The Cardinal second baseman has it, and there's out number 2. 2 gone for Rafael Belliard. Well, a lot of things happen. If the Braves can hang on to win this, obviously a city that has turned out and enjoyed not only the Olympics, but the run for the World Series with the Braves. Belliard 2 for 2, takes a strike, 0-1. It has been an exciting summer here in Atlanta. But if the Braves win this, WD School of Safe and Conservative Boating will have to do with old equipment for another year. Belliard fouls it back to the screen, and it's 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes. Belliard chokes up on the bat with 2 strikes. The 0-2 pitch outside, backhanded by Pagnozzi, 1-2. Bennett stands side saddle as he rocks into the wind and sends the 1-2 pitch home. Belliard lines it into right center field. Jordan will play.
Always stays ready. And when he's called on, especially in big games, he always seems to produce, whether it's with his glove or occasionally with his bat.
Which it is here tonight. Here's Glavine. Tom takes a strike, 0-1. Glavine did the big part of the damage in the first inning. A bases clearing triple gave himself the 6-0 lead. The 0-1 pitch, outside corner, 0-2. Glavine etched his name into the record book with that triple. He's the first pitcher to hit one in League Championship Series history. He's in a hole, 0-2. The 0-2 pitch slapped out of play left side, climbing back into the crowd, still 0-2. Bennis with a new baseball. Short lead by Belliard at first. The stretch and the 0-2 pitch again. Little bit outside. 1-2.
That was the second triple of Tom Glavine's career. He had one back in 1989.
The 1-2 pitch to Tom. Fouled away. He's still alive. Still 1-2. Well, that was when he was younger and quicker.
And couldn't even dream about pitching in a 7th game of a postseason.
Not the truth.
Not that year.
The 1-2 pitch to Glavine. Breaking ball. A little bit outside. 2-2. Bennis wanted to call. So did Pagnozzi. Pagnozzi bounced out of the crouch. He was getting ready to roll that ball back out to the mound. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Again, the stretch by Bennis and the 2-2 pitch to Glavine, swung on and missed. So Bennis strikes out 2 in the inning. The Braves come away empty, stranding 1. We have completed 3. 6-0 Braves. Braves lead at 6-0 as we head to the 4th inning. Skip Caray joins us now, and I know Tony La Russa is going to have a lot of questions to answer, Skip, but one thing for the Braves, you sure feel comfortable when you hand Tom Glavine a 6-run lead in the first inning.
Hard to imagine that it would happen twice in a series like this. A 5-run first and then a 6-run first. Glavine has been perfect through 3, and he'll face the top of the order, Clayton, McGee, and Gant in the 4th inning. And the Cardinals now really have to sort of kick themselves in the fannies. It's tough. You come in all psyched up to play, and before you blink, you're down 6. Clayton flied to right his first time. Tom Glavine ready to go to work. He kicks and fires. Swung and missed. The fastball, 0-1. Down 6. Clayton hacking away at the first pitch. Nobody on, nobody out in the 4th. Capacity crowd on hand. Looks like World Series time. Right around the corner. The 0-1 is forthcoming. Low and outside. A ball and a strike. The kind of talk with John Sherholtz during the top of the 3rd. There's almost no chance that David Justice will be activated for the World Series. There was a rumor about that. The 1-1 pitch swung, line into right field. On comes Dye, but he'll have to play it on 1 hop. And Royce Clayton is the first base runner St. Louis acquires in the game. It's not that the Braves wouldn't want to activate David. It's that the doctors are still very leery of letting him go full bore with that shoulder.
It's amazing how most of those questions and that speculation always comes from outside of the organization, outside of the clubhouse, and in that case, most of it outside of this city.
You get this many writers and broadcasters together, a lot of strange things
we
are
lethal, aren't we?
McGee stands in the stretch. Pitch to him, runner going, fly ball foul, down 6. They play hit and run.
Well, this is a whole new generation. Like yours and my generation didn't swing at the first pitch down by 6 as Clayton did.
I think Tony is just desperately trying to jumpstart his team, get something going. McGee, a strikeout victim, his first time, 0-1 the count.
You know, if you want to look at it pragmatically, down 6, you really don't have a whole lot to lose by trying
That's
that.
right. The delivery swung, a fly ball into right field, dive back. One step, puts it away, 1 out. So McGee is retired. Here's Ron Gadd, who on a 3-0 pitch grounded to third his first time. Runner at first, 1 down. Glavine looks in for the sign. Clayton, a good-sized lead. The stretch in the pitch. Here it is. Swung and missed a change of pace. He was out in front, 0-1. I guess Ron will second-guess himself about that dive for Glavine's line drive. But already down 3, I hardly can blame him. He just missed it. The stretch. The 0-1 pitch. Low and outside, evens it up. Had a ball and a strike. You know he hit 2 home runs against Glavine up there.
Good point you make about that dive. I think at that time you've got to think the worst it's going to cost you is 1 more run, because if you don't dive, it's going to cost you 2 anyway if you don't catch it.
The stretch. And the 1-1 pitch, here it is. Swung and missed another change, down and away. It's a ball and 2 strikes. Braves would leave for New York early afternoon tomorrow. A workout in Yankee Stadium tomorrow evening, weather permitting. Weather is not supposed to be very good Friday and Saturday. The stretch. The 1-2 pitch, here it is. High and outside. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes. Jeff Blauser, they just took him out as a precautionary measure. I'm sure they're icing that knee. And he should be ready to go if there's subsequent baseball for Atlanta, and it appears that there will be.
Looked like that came awfully close to catching the kneecap. As one who has endured that, I hope for his sake it didn't.
The 2-2 pitch. Here it is. Swung and lined into left field, but Andrew Jones is there, and he's got it. Ron just missed it. He hit that off the trademark. You could tell by the sound he didn't quite get it where he wanted to. 2 out. Brian Jordan, who popped out his first time, the batter.
Interesting. You hit that right on the head about where he hit it. The first thing Gant did when he came back by was pick up the bat and take a look at where the ball mark was on the barrel of the bat. Because I think he couldn't believe that didn't get out of here.
2 out, runner at first. Brian Jordan stands in. And Tom Glavine comes set. And delivers. Runner goes. Pitches outside. Throw is perfect. He is out, and the inning is over. Down by 6 runs. They get a runner thrown out at second base with a power hitter at the plate. No comprendo. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Braves 6. Cardinals nothing. We go to the bottom half of the 4th inning. Marquise Grissom leads it off. Top of the order, Grissom, Lemke, and Jones. Marquise 1, 4-2. All that was in the 1st inning. He hits now in the 4th. The wind and the pitch is low. 1 ball, no strikes. Marion Taz Satoni listening in tonight in Roswell, Georgia. The wind, the 1-0 pitch. Swung, ground ball to third. Gaetti on a funny hop. Fields throws him out, 1 away. So Bennis is pitching great.
And you watch, if it holds true to form, what normally does when a manager sets him up to be second guess and he brings in the guy that he thought about starting, he usually pitches 5 or 6 scoreless innings.
Here's Mark Lemke. What a series he has had. 11 out of 25. And a great job of staying in a rundown in the 1st inning and allowing a run to score. Andy Bennis delivers. Low and inside. Had to skip the rope to get out of the way. 1 ball, no strikes. The Lemmer stands back in. Bennis kicks and fires. Curve, swung and missed. He tried to hit that one onto Capitol Avenue. 1-1 the count. 1 out, nobody aboard. Bennis again kicks and fires. Fastball low and inside. 2-1 the count. Again, the big right-hander into the motion, lets her loose. Low and inside. 3-1 the count. Chipper Jones on deck. Glavine 3 RBIs tonight. Andrew Jones, Jermaine Dye, Fred McGriff have the others. The pitch. Low and outside. He walked him. First walk issued by Bennis in the game. Runner at first, 1 out. Chipper and Fred McGriff bat against the right-hander. A couple more couldn't hurt. The right-hander looks in. He comes set and delivers. Low, 1 ball, no strikes. Chipper has grounded to third, and he is singled. The stretch by Bennis, and the pitch. Low again. All of a sudden, he can't find the strike zone. 2-0 the count.
And uncharacteristically missing down. Normally, when we see Bennis miss, it's upstairs.
Chipper played slightly around toward left field by St. Louis. The stretch. Now the pitch. Just missed low. 3-0. Bennis wanted that one. 3 balls, no strikes. Chipper takes a long look at his third base coach, Jimmy Williams. Fred McGriff on deck.
I would.
Yeah, I would too.
6-0. Not too big of a lead. Let him go.
The pitch. Low and outside. We'll never know. Back-to-back walks. First and second. 1 out for Fred. McGriff hit into a fielder's choice, driving in a run in the first. Fly to left in the second. And he bats here in the fourth with 2 on and 1 out. No action in the St. Louis bullpen. Braves 15 outs away from yet another World Series. 15 Cardinal outs. Fred stands in. They play him a step toward left. The right-hander comes set and delivers. Swung, ground ball, hit it for right field, base hit. Here comes Lemke. Here comes McGee. Chipper races for third. He is safe. The throw gets away. Jones will score. McGriff goes to second. And the Braves add to their lead. It's 8-0. Single, an RBI, and an error on the right fielder, McGee.
And the inexperience of the youngster at first jumped up and bit him right there. That ball was within arm's length of Dimitri Young, but because he was screened a little bit by the base runner, did not get out of the way and find it. That cost him at least 2 runs.
Here's Javi Lopez, the pitch. Swung, a high drive into center field. Back goes Jordan to the wall. At the wall, he leaps. The ball is gone. A 2-run homer, and it's 10-0. Listen to this crowd. Who do you like for the MVP? Is it Lopez? Is it Lemke? Tough choice. Here's your man down on the helmet. Maybe too late for that.
Yep. That would serve no useful purpose. That's not Andy Bennis's style.
The 0-1 pitch. Outside, 1-1. The chop is in full voice now. Lopez, 1 out of 2 tonight. 12 out of 22 with 5 RBI. The pitch swung and popped up. McGee over toward the foul line, gets into foul territory and puts it away for the second out of the inning. Andrew Jones, the batter.
Out of respect for what Andy Bennis has done for this ball club, especially the second half, I would not leave him out there to be subject to this abuse.
Andrew Jones, the hitter. Things looking rather good.
Want to go to Christo's for some liver and onions on Saturday?
Christo's a good spot, but no. Bennis into the wind on the pitch. It's low, 1 ball, no strikes. You like liver?
Love it.
I knew you were strange. The pitch. Fouled off. He had a funny swing at that. 1-1 the count.
I also like venison, too.
I don't mind the venison, but they're starting the bye-bye chant. A little early, folks. Relax. The 1-1 pitch. Strike called over the outside corner. 1-2 the count.
Sad thing about that is that most of those people doing this have never been put in a position to either enjoy or being embarrassed by a performance like this.
I could do
I
without.
don't like it.
I don't either. 2-2 the count. The wind and the pitch. Outside, 3-2. It's great to cheer your team, but why try to humiliate the other guy? Let us be happy, not vengeful. The wind, the 3-2 pitch, here it is. Swung, ground ball, deep short. Clayton has it. Fires to first, going to be close. Safe. The first baseman can't come up. He'd have beat it anyway, I think. See how they score. Oh, they're going to give him an error. I'm not so sure, but what, he didn't have that beaten. We'll look at the replay and see. It should have been a hit, folks. Hopefully, Mark Fredrickson will change it. Here's Rafael Belliard. Dimitri Young broke his glove trying to scoop that up. And they bring him another one. Belliard in the LCS, 3 out of 3 activity in the Cardinal bullpen. Tony Fossis begins to throw. And Tony La Russa out of the dugout into the mound to talk with Bennis and to buy his relief pitcher a little time. And while this conversation goes on, let's pause for station identification on the Atlanta Braves Radio Network.
Braves baseball, exclusively on News Talk 750 WSB. Atlanta's home of the Braves, the Hawks, the Georgia Bulldogs. The sports voice of the South. Depend on it.
Belliard stands in there. The conversation is over. The stretch and the pitch. Curve hit on the ground to second. Gallego has it. Throws to first, and the inning is over, but not before. 4 more runs score on just 2 hits. There was an error charged in the inning, and a runner was left at the end of 4. Atlanta 10, St. Louis nothing. We go to the top of another 5th, and Brian Jordan, who was at the plate when Clayton was mysteriously cut down stealing, will lead it off. Jordan, Gaetti, and Dimitri Young, the first 3 for the Cardinals here. Glavine is pinching himself as Smoltz was the other night. Where did all these runs come from? The right-hand hitter digs in. The wind and the pitch. He bunts down the third baseline, foul. 0-1. Nobody on, nobody out. Fifth inning. All World Series tickets have been sold. We're not there yet, but headed in the right direction, that's for sure. The wind and the 0-1 pitch. Here it is. High and outside. A ball and a strike. 10-9-0 for Atlanta. 0-1-2 for St. Louis. The 1-1 pitch. Here it is. Swung on a high drive into center field. Grissom drifts back. He's got plenty of room. Shy of the track, puts it away, 1 out.
What Glavine is doing, Skip, is very simple. He's taking the heart of the plate out of play and throwing strike after strike after strike. Both Jordan and Gant thought they had the ball right on the button. They were strikes, but they were right on the outer edge.
And fly balls to the outfield, the result. So Gary Gaetti stands in. The wind and the pitch from Glavine. Here it is. High and outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Saturday night, the talk show at 6:07 from Yankee Stadium. Weather permitting. Major League reports 7:20. First pitch due at 8 o'clock. The delivery. Swung, ground ball. Right into the teeth of the shift. Belliard has it. Throws him out. 2 down.
That shift, the way the Braves set it up, looks like the old single wing formation in football.
Special with Belliard and Lemke out there side by side.
A couple of little running backs, and Lemke was about 2 steps on the outfield grass. He would have to be the tailback.
Dimitri Young, the batter. And Glavine into the wind and the pitch. Swung and lined into left field. Andrew Jones on the run, and the inning is over. Young hits it hard, but out. Glavine, another 1-2-3 inning. We're halfway home, and the Braves lead it 10-0. Well, now we go to the bottom of another fifth. And Tom Glavine will lead it off. That's normally the way it works, I've learned. Glavine, the game's biggest hit, a 3-run first inning triple. He has also struck out. The triple was against Donovan Osborne. The strikeout against the man he faces now, Andy Bennison. Again, bullpen action for St. Louis. Fosses is up once more. The pitch. Strike called at the knees, outside corner, 0-1. 10-0 Atlanta. The pitch. Strike 2, same spot. 0-2, the count on Thomas.
I don't think you will see his best hitting effort on this at bat.
He may try to jack one here, Don. The pitch. Hey, it's a fly ball to left. Ron Gant is there, plenty of room, 1 out. So Glavine is retired. Here's Marquise. 1 out of 3. He got the game started on the right note with a solid single to center. Beside that single and the subsequent run scored, Grissom is tapped to the mound, grounded to third. Bennis delivers. Swung, grounds another one to third. Gaetti has it. Across the diamond in time. 2 out. Braves have scored 39 runs in this series, the most in National League Championship Series history. They passed the Pirates, who scored 35 in a losing cause in '92. Boston has scored 41. They have the LCS record. Here's Lemke. A double, a fly to center, a walk, and another run scored. The wind and the pitch. Downstairs, 1 ball, no strikes. You know, you talk about that MVP. I think John Smoltz, Mark Wohlers deserve consideration, too.
You asked that. I'm glad you brought that back up because you asked that question earlier.
Fastball strike to Lemke.
If the Braves do hang on and win, who do you give it to? Is it Lopez or it's Lemke? Historically, and I bet you it happens again, it will go to Javi Lopez.
The pitch. It's low. It's 2-1 because of the power.
The power. And that will continue what has always happened to Mark Lemke. Mark Lemke is a guy who gets overlooked because there are so many other glamour guys on the ball club.
The 2-1 pitch. Here it is. Swung, hit foul, past third, over by the Cardinal dugout.
Because just doing the right thing at the right time over and over doesn't make the highlight films.
Yeah, that's probably changed this game more than anything, is Sports Center. It's a fine program, but
there's not enough Mark Lemke's on it.
the 2-2 pitch. Low and inside, full count. I'm so tired of seeing guys jump up on the fence in the outfield when the ball's 50 feet over their head. The 3-2 pitch. Bennis shakes off a Pagnazzi sign. Now he's ready. And delivers. Curve, hit right back up the middle. Another hit for Lemke. A 2-out single to center. 12 out of 26 in the series. For the Lemmer, here's Chipper Jones.
The LCS record, 13. Will Clark holds it. Pete was pointing out earlier, the amazing thing about that is he did it in 5 games.
I am told the Yankees are vulnerable to left-hand pitching. I wonder if it will be Denny Nagel or John Smoltz in game 1.
I think you start John Smoltz.
The pitch is a strike at the knees, 0-1.
You start John Smoltz if they have a ball club that's hit 800 against right-handed pitching. Because he and Maddox are not your normal right-handed pitchers.
The stretch, the 0-1, here it is. A little bit outside. 1-1. I was just thinking about giving him an extra day. We'll let Bobby worry about that.
He's worried pretty successfully to this point, huh?
I would say so. The 1-1 pitch, here it is. Swung, ground ball to the mound, and the inning is over. Bennis has it on to first. Young gathers it in. 1 hit, no runs. No errors, 1 left. 5 innings have gone by. Braves lead 10-0. We go to the 6th inning here in the lower end of the order up for St. Louis. Now a right-hander is in their bullpen. We'll try to figure out who it is. Pokazik is throwing again. He's been a busy man in this series. Tom Pagnazzi leads things off. Pagnazzi lined to Lemke his first time. The Cardinals are a bedraggled-looking team. They had their shot. They got up 3-1 and let it slip away. The wind by Glavine and the pitch. Outside, 1 ball, no strikes. Tommy Reynolds coaches at third. Dave McKay at first. The pitch. Swung and line. There's a solid hit to left. So Pagnazzi is on. He is now 3 out of 19 in this series, and Mike Gallego the batter. Luis Alicea moves on deck. Check it. Ozzie Smith moves on deck. In what will almost certainly be the last game of his career. I don't know if he's going to stay in the game and play shortstop or just pinch hit.
And I expect a class reaction out of our crowd and our fans here.
The pitch to Gallego, swung and foul tipped, 0-1. Yeah, those of you with transistors, give Ozzie a warm reception when he's announced here.
He has earned it. The standard by anytime you are the standard by which all others are compared, you have earned all the acclaim you get. And the Wizard is that standard at shortstop.
0-1 the count, the stretch, and the pitch. Strike 2 called, fastball inside corner. Gallego didn't like it, but he's in the hole. 0-2. Runner at first, nobody out. McGriff plays behind the runner. The stretch. The 0-2 pitch outside, a ball and 2 strikes. Gallego stands back in there. Here's Ozzie Smith. Listen. They're on their feet here for Ozzie.
Look at Tom Glavine, what he's doing. Back behind the mound, tipped his hat to him, allowed him to have his moment out here. That is a class act by a class man.
And Ozzie acknowledges the crowd as he waves his cap. Now we're ready to go. That was nice. A nice moment. The pitch. Swung and a high pop right side. McGriff going back. On comes Dye. He's got it. Maybe Ozzie will stay in the game here. We'll wait and see. Listen to the hand as he walks back to the dugout. They're even applauding in the Atlanta dugout. On a night with many great moments, there was another. Royce Clayton, the batter. Runner at first, 2 out. The pitch. Swung, a little tapper back to the mound. Glavine has it. Throws to first, and that's that in the 6th. 1 hit, no runs, no errors, 1 left. Bottom of the 6th. All Atlanta, 10-0. Mark Pekazik on to pitch. Again, the attendance 52,067. Ozzie Smith is through for the night. Just the pinch hitting appearance. Clayton stays in the game at shortstop. Pekazik, a sinker balling right-hander, will face Fred McGriff here in the bottom of the 6th. It's all Atlanta. We're headed for New York. Game 1, weather permitting, Saturday night at 8 o'clock. Game 2 scheduled for Sunday at 7:30. Then home here Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. The wind and the pitch. Swung, ground ball, fair into the right field corner. McGriff around first. He's on his way to second. He'll pull in there. Well, the ball gets by Willie McGee, and McGriff heads for third. And he'll make it easily. See how they score it. The ball tricked Willie down in the corner. It scored a triple. McGriff now with 2 hits on the night. That's the 11th Atlanta safety of the game. And Javi Lopez, the batter. Lopez, Dye, and Jones with a chance to drive in yet another run. Infield plays back for St. Louis. The pitch. Low, 1 ball, no strikes. That's a concession speech if nothing else. They just want to get out of here and go home, and I'm not knocking them. They've had a great year and really made a run at the Braves in this series. The pitch. Swung and drilled. Deep center field. On the run, Jordan to the track. It's over his head. Up against the wall. A run is in, and Lopez is at second with another double.
Go ahead and pick out a spot in his trophy case.
He drives in his 3rd run of the night.
That ties the Will Clark record. 13 hits for Javi.
It is 11-0. The last catcher to win the award, Darrell Porter, in 1982, that was against us. All he did in that series, I recall, was hit double. Jermaine Dye is the batter, and the pitch swung and grounded foul past Jimmy Williams. He has 5 doubles in this series, does Lopez. That's the most in one series for any batter. I think we probably tell the folks more about LCS records than they really want to know. 0-1 the count to Dye. The stretch of the pitch. Swung, a looper into short left field. On comes Gant. He's there. He's got it, 1 away. Andrew Jones, the batter. Rafael Belliard moves on deck. Not many fans have left this place despite the lopsided score. Andrew Jones stands in. Pekazik comes set. And the pitch. Outside, 1 ball, no strikes. Keisha joined us late. Donovan Osborne had a rough time of it. In the first inning, he went 2/3 of an inning, gave up 5 hits, 6 runs, walked 1, hit 1. Got knocked out. The pitch. Swung at a high drive. Deep left center field. That ball is gone. A mammoth clout by Andrew Jones. It's 13-0. Listen. Here's Belliard. The pitch to him. Swung, a high chop off the plate. They're going to let it roll, and it just goes foul. Okay, you got 6 runs. I got 7, so Pete's got to get 8 in the last 2 innings.
You'd think so. He may decide to be the closer, though, and go defense.
Yeah, I hope so. I think everything that needed to be proven in this game has been proven. Lopez has scored 3 runs tonight. He's driven in 3. Andrew has scored 2 and driven in 3. Glavine has driven in 3. Bukaisic delivers, and Belliard takes a strike a foot outside, 0-2.
Tell me what you really think about where that was.
I don't blame him either. The right-hand hitter waits. The pitch, high and outside. A ball and 2 strikes. They're doing that goodbye chant again. Stop that, folks. The stretch. The pitch. Swung. Base hit right field. Belliard does it again. And Tom Glavine comes to the plate. Rick Honeycutt is in the bullpen for St. Louis. Here's Glavine, who may try to steer one to one of the infielders into a double play.
That would be some of the wisest hitting I would have seen all year.
The stretch. And the pitch. Low, 1 ball, no strikes. Boy, these fans are pumped up, aren't they? I think we need a good wave going now, and everything will be perfect.
Bite your tongue, your lip, and whatever else you do.
What a hope pitch. Swung on and missed. It evens it up now, 1-1.
This is too good a game to watch to foul it up by doing
well, that
something
would be better than that goodbye stuff.
Yeah, that stinks.
Again, the stretch. And the pitch. Swung and missed. It's 1-2. All the joys of the Bronx will unfold for us on Saturday.
And probably a few of the characters.
The 1-2 pitch. Foul tipped it back. Still 1-2. Is there a Kilboy vest shop anywhere on the way to the ballpark tomorrow morning?
No, but all the jogging is done inside the stadium.
Yeah, I think so. The 1-2 pitch. And the pitch. Struck him out. Attaway, Tommy. 2 down. Top of the order, Marquise Grissom. Braves now have 74 hits. That's the most in League Championship Series history. The old record, 71 by the Angels in 86. You were there, weren't you?
Yes, I was, and that was an Angels ball club that went from 3-1 to losing it.
And it was far more tragic than just losing the series.
The fallout. There is a story that has been written, a book, tracing the lives and the events.
Pitch to Grissom, lined right field, base hit. Like a golden oldies station, the hits just keep on coming. 2 on, 2 out. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Getting back to that 86 series, and there were a lot of tragic events that probably were either directly or indirectly resultant from that collapse by the California Angels.
I'd like to read that one. Do you recall the name off the top of your head?
No, but the story that you most remember is the
Donnie
story
Moore.
of Donnie Moore. Yeah, but there were others too, and it was just a sad event.
Tony La Russa makes a pitching change. We'll be back after this. Rick Honeycutt completes his warm-up tosses. Mark Lemke will be the batter. You know, back in 1990, Randy Myers and Rob Dibble shared the most valuable player award. That would be nice if it could have happened to Lopez and Lemke.
Yeah, there is a precedent for it. I remember, I think on L.A., there was a time when Yeager and Lopes and Say shared it, I think.
Here's the Lemmer. Two on, two out. It is 13-0 Atlanta.
What else you got out of the archives?
That's it, buddy. I'm archived out. The veteran. No, I'm not. The veteran left-hander delivers. Curveball, strike called, 0-1.
Larry Librarian, what you got next?
By the way, Andrew Jones, the youngest player to hit a home run in postseason play. Used to be Mickey Mantle back in 1952. 0-1 the count. The stretch and the pitch. Swung and missed. He didn't look too good at that hack. 0-2
Exactly how old is Andrew at this point?
He's older than this, okay? About 18 years older than that.
Than one, huh?
Yeah. 0-2 the count. The pitch. Outside. A ball and 2 strikes.
I knew you'd fork over some good information.
We do what we can with what little we've got. 0-2, 1-2 rather, the count. Something like that. 1-2. Let's try that. The pitch. Outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Belliard at second, Grissom at first. Marquise now with 10 hits in this series. Lemke with 12. Jones with 10. McGriff now 7. Just missed outside. They asked for help. No swing. Lopez 13 hits in the series. Dye has 6 and Andrew Jones has 2. One of them left the park. Honeycutt looks in. The Lemmer waits. Payoff pitch. Struck him out with a breaking ball and the inning is over. But not before the Braves scored 3 times on 5 hits. They leave 2. We move to the 7th inning with your score. Atlanta 13. St. Louis nothing. We go to the 7th inning here. Things looking fairly good. It's 13-0 Atlanta, and here to bring you the rest of the way, Pete Van Wieren.
Okay, Skip, thank you. Leading off for the Cardinals here in the 7th inning, Willie McGee, followed by Ron Gant and Brian Jordan. Unbelievable offensive explosions in 2 of these last 3 games by Atlanta. Willie McGee is 0 for 2. He has struck out and fly to right. Tom Glavine's been cruising since the 1st inning when he got 6 runs scored for him. And the first pitch on the way to McGee is low and outside, ball 1. This might be Glavine's last inning. Mike Bielecki has begun to loosen now in the Braves bullpen. Here's the wind and the 1-0 pitch on the way to McGee. Started to go, checked his swing. He went around, though, says first base up, Mark Hirschbeck. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here's the wind, the 1-1 pitch. Low and outside, 2-1. This series started off so poorly for the Braves offensively, and they're going to wind up setting all sorts of offensive records. Most runs scored, most hits. Javi Lopez with 13 hits, tying an individual record. Lined by McGee, just fouled on the right field line. Andrew Jones becoming the youngest player ever to hit a home run in postseason play, beating out Mickey Mantle.
And I know on one of your shows you talked at some length about How it really goes back to August 31st that this team didn't hit.
Right.
But all of a sudden, my goodness.
Well, first the pitch, the 2-2 pitch on the way to McGee, and there's a line drive in the left center field. That's going to be in for at least one, maybe more. Andrew Jones over to cut it off. McGee's going to hold on with a base hit. Great throw by Andrew Jones. Only the third hit allowed by Tom Glavine. If you think about it, the Braves were down 3-1 after Game 4. Since then, they've outscored the Cardinals 30-1.
That's fairly convincing, I would say.
30-1. That's unheard of. Here's Ron Gant, who is grounded out to third, flied out to left. They're not going to hold McGee at first. The stretch by Glavine, and the pitch on the way to Gant. He gets a high pop fly into right. Jermaine Dye out there waiting in about 2 steps now. He's got it, one gone in the 7th. And it's the offense. It's going to be 13 runs, 15 hits for Atlanta, no runs, 3 hits for the Cardinals. 1 out in the 7th, the stretch by Glavine. And the 0-1 pitch on the way is low and outside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Going to be a tough winter for the Cardinals, up 3-1 and letting it get away.
And a tough winter for their fans, because they will have done this 3 times now in their history. 2 World Series and now a National League Championship Series, where they were up 3-1 and couldn't win that 4th one. Here's the 1-1. Broken bat grounder left side. Chipper Jones has it, goes to second one. Lemke on to first, double play. 5-4-3 takes care of the Cardinals in the top of the 7th. Nothing doing, no runs, 1 hit, nobody left. We go to the bottom half of the 7th in Game 7. Braves 13, Cardinals nothing.
To the top local story on Atlanta's Morning News.
We go to the bottom half of the 7th inning. A blowout for the Braves here in Game 7. They're leading at 13-0, and the Cardinals have conceded. They're taking their regulars out. We have a new left fielder, Mark Sweeney. Ron Gant is out for the rest of the night. Miguel Mejia is the new center fielder, replacing Brian Jordan. John Mabry, the new right fielder, replacing Willie McGee. Danny Schaefer, the new catcher, replacing Tom Pagnazzi. Chipper Jones, Fred McGriff, Javi Lopez due up here in the bottom of the 7th for Atlanta, who are now just moments away from winning another National League pennant and heading to yet another World Series against the New York Yankees. It'll begin on Saturday night. Honeycutt completing his warm-ups. We have seen this team do so many remarkable things in the last 6 years, going from worst to first in 91, that tremendous rally in Game 7 in 92 to get to a World Series, getting to the playoffs again in 93, winning it all, of course, last year. But I think, Skip, this year's team has probably more heart than any of them because of all the adversity it went through, all the injuries, beginning with David Justice.
You know, what's sort of interesting to me, I think maybe the best thing that happened to this team in this city was getting behind 3-1, because I think we were all a little bit blasé about things, and all of a sudden the enthusiasm is back.
Here's Chipper Jones taking strike 1 inside corner from Honeycutt, 0-1. Justice, Jerome Walton, Danny Bautista, Steve Avery, Pedro Borbon. Jeff Blauser was out for 2 extended periods of time. Mark Lemke spent a couple of weeks on the disabled list. This was a team that had to overcome a lot during the regular season, and did. And who would have thunk it, down 3-1, to come back and play like the Braves have the last 3 games, especially offensively. Here's the 1-1 pitch now to Chipper Jones, striking the outside corner. It's 1-2. Here's the wind by Honeycutt on the 1-2 pitch. On the way to Chipper Jones, a little bit low, 2-2. Here's the wind by Honeycutt. The 2-2 pitch on the way. Ground ball left field. That's in for a base hit. Past a diving Gary Gaetti. Chipper Jones aboard with a leadoff single, and the beat goes on for the Braves. That is hit number 16 off Cardinal pitching. And the batter will be Fred McGriff. He's hit into a force play, flied out, singled, and tripled. He has scored 3 runs, driven in 2. Nobody out in the bottom of the 7th. There's the first pitch to McGriff. He swings and drives one deep right field. Mabry going back to the warning track, to the wall. This one is off the top of the wall and out of here. Home run, Fred McGriff. 15-0 Atlanta. McGriff's second home run of the series. He has 4 RBIs tonight and 7 RBIs in the series. It was just 3 nights ago that we were able to say that the Braves had completed the most lopsided victory in the history of the League Championship Series when they won 14-0. Tonight, it's 15-0. Here's the pitch to Javi Lopez, high and outside, ball 1. Lopez tonight, a walk. He's hit into a force play. He's homered. He's doubled. He's driven in 3. His 13 hits matching Will Clark's League Championship Series high back in 1989. The wind by Honeycutt. And the pitch to Lopez. Ground ball sharply to short. Fielded by Royce Clayton. He throws across to first in time. 1 out. Absolutely unbelievable.
Well, I told you we had the pressure was on you. Don got 6. I got 7. You're after a pretty good start.
I'm only going to have 2 innings of Braves hitting, though.
Man.
Here's Jermaine Dye. He is 1 for 4 on the night. He had maybe the biggest hit in this game to get it going. A 2-out run-scoring single in the first. Braves went on to score 6 in that first inning. The RBI hit by Jermaine Dye drove in the second run of the inning, but if he didn't get a base hit there, it's a 1-0 game after 1, and who knows what would have happened. First pitch misses low, ball 1. Now the 1-0 pitch on the way from Honeycutt to Dye. Ground ball toward third. It's just fair. Fielded by Gaetti. Long throw across to first in time. And 2 men are out. And now Andrew Jones, who entered the record books by becoming the youngest player ever to hit a home run in postseason play. At age 19, Mickey Mantle was just shy of 21 back in 1952 when he hit a home run. Andrew's homer came with a man aboard 1 inning ago. He's 2 out of 4. He has singled. He has homered. He has driven in 3.
Should be a great World Series, wouldn't you think?
It should be terrific for a lot of reasons. Here's the pitch on the way to Andrew Jones. Breaking ball strike inside corner. First of all, going up against Joe Torre in a World Series. We had the privilege of working with Joe and his staff here in Atlanta for 3 years. There's the 0-1 pitch. Up high, 1 ball, 1 strike. And, of course, the Braves played against him when he managed the Mets and when he managed the Cardinals. But now it's going to be a World Series at Yankee Stadium. Here's the 1-1 on the way. Outside, 2-1.
After about 4 or 5 innings of this, I think Joe went out for pasta.
Yeah, I think
he already knew.
I think he knew who he was going to play after about the 4th inning. Here's the 2-1 pitch now to Andrew Jones. He takes a strike at the knees. It's 2-2.
I hate that goodbye chant.
Here's the wind and the 2-2 pitch on the way, just off the outside corner. Full count, 3-2. Two men out, 2 more runs in here in the 7th. The wind by Honeycutt. 3-2 pitch on the way to Andrew. He walked him outside, ball 4. And now Rafael Belliard, who has 2 more hits tonight. He came in when Jeff Blauser got hit by a pitch in the first inning. Bruised his knee. So he's now 2 for 3 in this game and 4 for 5 in the series. Terry Pendleton has come out on deck as a potential pinch hitter for Tom Glavine. Runner at first, 2 outs. They're not holding Jones. 15-0 Atlanta. And the pitch to Belliard. Grounded foul off to the left, 0-1. Well, we're going to get to see David Cohn again, aren't we?
Yeah. And look at Andy Pettit, who we used to see in spring training.
And Jimmy Key. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Bouncing ball to the right side. Takes a funny hop, but Gallego stays with it. Throws on to first in time. And that's all for Atlanta in the 7th, but they add 2 more runs to their lead. 2 runs, 2 hits, 1 left. We go to the 8th. Atlanta 15, St. Louis nothing. We go to the 8th inning. Braves have made some changes. Eddie Perez takes over at first base. Fred McGriff gets the rest of the night off. Terry Pendleton takes over at third for Chipper Jones. And we have a new pitcher, Mike Bielecki, replacing Tom Glavine, who worked 7 innings of 3-hit shutout ball. given a lot of runs to work with very early. 6 in the first. Braves now leading at 15-0. Only 3 hits allowed by Glavine. He struck out 4 and did not walk anyone. And Gary Gaetti leads off the 8th. The first pitch from Bielecki is outside, ball 1.
You know, the 3 games the Braves had to have, they have walked a total of 2 men.
Well, if you go back to the end of game 4, and some of the post-game comments made, the 1-0 pitch to Gaetti popped up foul territory, first base side. Eddie Perez in foul ground, staggering a little, stays with it, makes the catch. Gaetti retired 1 down. I don't think I've ever heard a manager sound more confident down 3-1 than Bobby Cox did when he said, well, all I know is we're going to go out there with John Smoltz, Greg Maddux, and Tom Glavine, and I feel good about that.
And he called a little meeting and said, look, I was with managed the Toronto Blue Jays, and we were up 3-1, and I know it can be done because it happened to me. It may have helped, may not, but it sure didn't hurt.
1 out in the 8th. There's Dmitri Young. He is struck out and fly to left. Bielecki delivers up high, ball 1. Steve Avery has gotten up in the Atlanta bullpen. Here's the 1-0 pitch on the way. Pop foul back off the top of the screen. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Avery gets in this game. It might just be to see how he does, and if he can't get it done, he may not be on the World Series roster because of his physical problem.
That could very well be. Bielecki making his 3rd appearance of this series. He's worked 2 scoreless innings in his previous 2. 1 walk and 3 strikeouts. Pitch is low. And the count goes to 2-1 on Dmitri Young. John Mabry is now on deck. Bielecki shakes off one side. Now he's ready. And the 1-2 pitch on the way. Fly ball left field, fairly deep. Andrew Jones going back to the warning track, to the wall, to the corner. It's going to be foul up into the seats. Down still, a ball and 2 strikes. 15 runs, 17 hits for Atlanta. No runs, 3 hits for the Cardinals. Did you ever think you would get to a Game 7 in postseason and see the final few innings played like a spring training game with wholesale substitutions? Well, it's happened here in Atlanta tonight. Again, the 1-2 pitch on the way, a little bit high, 2-2. So the first game of the World Series Saturday night at Yankee Stadium. First pitch scheduled for 8 o'clock. John Smoltz, no doubt, will get the call for Atlanta. Joe Torre, as of earlier today, was still undecided between Andy Pettitte and David Cohn. He said it depends who wins. And my guess would be it's going to be Andy Pettitte. There's strike 3 called to Dmitri Young. Out number 2 in the 8th.
Yeah, I would guess the left-hander, too.
Now John Mabry, who did not get the start tonight for the first time in this series, even though he'd hit safely in all the other games. 6 out of 22 in the series. No extra base hits or RBIs, however. Left-hand batter. And the pitch on the way to Mabry is low and inside, ball 1. Well, it's very rare that you have a game this late with this kind of a score, and everybody's still here. There's the 1-0 pitch, pop foul, back out of play, 1 ball, 1 strike. But these fans want to stick around to celebrate the clinching of yet another National League pennant. And by the way, for those of you in the ballpark with radios, hang around after the game because the trophy presentation is going to be made on the field rather than in the Braves clubhouse. Here's the 1-1 pitch right through there for a called strike, 1-2.
Unless Chip grabs the trophy and makes a run for it. He's supposed to give it out for Fox.
Hey, what a thrill that'll be. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here's the wide and the 1-2 pitch on the way. Fouled back. Still a ball and 2 strikes. Six in the first, 4 in the 4th, 3 in the 6th, 2 in the 7th for Atlanta. We're now in the top of the 8th, 2 outs, bases empty. Bielecki winding. And the 1-2 pitch on the way. Swung on, missed, strike 3. Bielecki has a 1-2-3 inning. A pair of strikeouts included. They got in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Braves 15, Cardinals nothing.
With the top local story, only on Atlanta's Morning News.
Heard 50,000 people sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" hundreds of times. I have never heard 52,000 people sing "New York, New York" quite so joyfully as they just did here at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. Start spreading the news indeed. Here's Terry Pendleton batting in the 9-hole, leading off the bottom half of the 8th inning. Terry is 0 for 5 in this series. Tony Fossis, the new pitcher, replacing Rick Honeycutt. Worked an inning in the 3rd, gave up 2 runs, 2 hits. Walked 1, struck out 1. Fossis delivers to Pendleton. He swings and lines one. Caught by a diving Gary Gaetti to his left. 1 out. Now back to the top of the order, and Marquise Grissom. It has been party time in this ballpark since the 1st inning, when the Braves again exploded as they did in Game 5 when they scored 5 runs in the 1st, 6 runs in the 1st tonight. And it's now 15-0. 1 out. Here's Grissom. Grissom tonight is 2 out of 5. First pitch to him, breaking ball, low and inside, ball 1. Mike Mordecai has come out on deck. Fossis delivers the 1-0 pitch. It's taken high again, ball 2, 2-0. The 2-0 pitch, ground ball to 3rd, backhanded by Gaetti. The throw across to 1st is in time for out number 2, and now Mike Mordecai will get an at-bat coming up to hit for Lemke. Mark Lemke, another terrific night tonight. He went 2 for 4, finishes the National League Championship Series 12 for 27. That's a .444 average with 5 RBIs. 2 men out in the bottom of the 8th. Here's Mordecai. For those of you interested in the Braves' travel plans tomorrow, the Braves charter will depart from Hartsfield at 2 o'clock. And the Braves will be leaving the ballpark in their buses here at about 1:15. Well, if you're going to be in the airport at 2, I imagine the Braves will walk through. Here's the pitch to Mordecai. Went around, 0-1, and the votes have been tallied, and Javi Lopez, Braves catcher, has been named the most valuable player of the 1996 National League Championship Series. There's the 0-1. Inside, 1 ball, 1 strike, and Mordecai. Lopez, by going 2 for 4 tonight, is 13 for 24 in the series with 6 RBIs and a couple of home runs, tying the LCS record for most hits. 1-1 pitch to Mordecai, a little fly ball and out to shallow center. Kind of a late break by Mejia. Now he's under it. And he's got it for the out. Braves go quietly in the bottom half of the 8th inning. 3 outs to go. We go to the 9th in Game 7. Atlanta 15, St. Louis 0. We go to the 9th inning, and what has to be one of the most unexpected outcomes of a Game 7 in the history of Major League Baseball. After being down 3-1, the Braves come roaring back with a 14-0 win in Game 5, a 3-1 win and a nail-biter last night. 15-0 tonight, 9th inning. Couple of changes. Mike Mordecai takes over at second. Steve Avery will take over on the mound. His second appearance in this series. He worked a scoreless inning, giving up a hit, walking 1, striking out 1 in his only other appearance. And his first pitch is fouled off at the plate by Mike Gallego. The count 0-1. Everybody is on their feet here. A sellout crowd of 52,067. They gave the Braves a standing ovation as they took the field for the 9th inning. Here's the wind, the 0-1 pitch, bouncing ball up the middle and through into center field. Base hit for Gallego. It's only his second hit of the series.
Remember the other one, that line drive that almost hit Maddox in the face?
And now Luis Alicea will come on to pinch hit for Tony Fossis. You know, something else, we're talking about Javi Lopez being named the MVP of this league championship series. And you can talk all you want about the hitting, and he certainly has provided that. But remember also the game he caught last night, when all the critics were saying that he and Greg Maddux couldn't get on the same page. Well, they were on the same page last night. Runner going, they're going to let him go. Alicea fouls it off, almost picked off the bat boy. Over by the Cardinal dugout, 0-1. There's that list. MVPs in uniform tonight from previous league championship series. There's the 0-1 pitch, ground ball, slowly 3rd. Pendleton has it, goes to 2nd, in time there. Mordecai in the 1st, in time there. 5-4-3 double play, 1 out to go. Javi Lopez, the MVP this year. John Smoltz was the 92 MVP. The man on the mound right now, Steve Avery, was the 1991 MVP. And a man who may have played his last game tonight, Ozzie Smith, was the 1985 MVP. Well, the Braves are 1 out away from coming back from being down 3 games to 1. The last hope for the Cardinals is Royce Clayton. 2 outs in the 9th inning. The wind by Avery. The pitch to Clayton. Over but low. Ball 1. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss and a high fastball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Avery into the windup. Here comes the 1-1 pitch on the way. Bounces by everybody, and the count goes to 2-1. "15 runs, 17 hits for Atlanta. No runs, only 4 hits for the Cardinals." Here's the 2-1 pitch. Fly ball, center field. Marquise Grissom is there, and the Braves are headed back to the World Series. Their 2nd consecutive National League championship. Their 4th World Series trip of the 90s. Coming all the way back from a 3-1 deficit. They're all out on the mound celebrating a 4-3 series victory over the St. Louis Cardinals. Tonight's final, Braves 15, St. Louis nothing. Everybody gathered out to the first base side of the mound to celebrate. The Cardinals just sitting in shell shock, really, in their dugout on the third base side. And the platforms being brought in for the presentation of the National League Championship trophy and also an MVP award to be presented to Javi Lopez. It'll be the Braves and the Yankees in the World Series